श्री राधा कृष्ण पादा सगणा ललिता श्री विशाखावितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनेति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशितारिणे नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरदुषे नमः। नमो ब्राह्मण देवाय गो ब्राह्मण हिताय च जगद्गीताय कृष्णाय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। श्री प्रभुपाद की जय हो। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीर वनचारी यमुना तीर वनचारी यमुना तीर वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। श्री प्रभुपाद की जय हो। As today is Ram Navami, I am doing small kirtan of Ram श्री राम लक्ष्मण जानकी के लिए एक सॉन्ग करूंगी छोटा सा। पहले दो श्लोक करती हूँ। श्री राम राम रामेति रमे रामे मनोरमे सहस्रनाम तत्तुल्यं राम नाम वरानने। श्री राम रामेति रमे रामे मनोरमे सहस्रनाम तत्तुल्यं राम नाम वरानने। श्री राम रामेति रमे रामे मनोरमे सहस्रनाम तत्तुल्यं राम नाम वरानने। आपदामपहर्तारं दातारं सर्वसंपदां लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहम्। Today I am doing the song of संत श्री एकनाथ महाराज। महाराष्ट्र के जो संत हुए हैं एकनाथ जी, उनका एक बहुत प्रसिद्ध भजन है, वो करती हूँ। गुरु कृपांजन पायो मेरे भाई गुरु कृपांजन पायो मेरे भाई राम बिना कछु दिखत नाही राम बिना कछु दिखत नाही गुरु कृपांजन पायो मेरे भाई गुरु कृपांजन पायो मेरे भाई राम बिना कछु दिखत नाही राम बिना कछु दिखत नाही। अंतर राम बाहिर राम अंतर राम बाहिर राम जहाँ देखूं वहीं राम ही राम जहाँ देखूं वहीं राम ही राम। जागत राम सोवत राम। जागत राम सोवत राम। सपने में देखूं राजा राम। सपने में देखूं राजा राम। गुरु कृपांजन पायो मेरे भाई। गुरु कृपांजन पायो मेरे भाई। राम बिना कछु दिखत नाही। राम बिना कछु दिखत नाही। एका जनार्दनी भावहिनी का। एका जनार्दनी भावहिनी का। जो देखू सो राम चरिखा। जो देखू सो राम चरिखा। गुरु कृपांजन पायो मेरे भाई। गुरु कृपांजन पायो मेरे भाई। राम बिना कछु दिखत नाही। राम बिना कछु दिखत नाही। श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम। 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 हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जय प्रभुपाद की जय हो। राम लक्ष्मण जान की जय बोलो हनुमान की। हरे कृष्णा धनुष प्रणाम टू ऑल डिवोटीज। थैंक यू प्रभु जी फॉर सो वंडरफुल सेवा।
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you very much. Prasad Prabhuji, would you like to do the invocation prayers, or I'll do it, then I'll recap? Okay, I'll do the invocation prayer so that time is not lost.
Okay.
Namo
I can
Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pasyatya Desatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakkhurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavancha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tamto Jivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Sri Visakhanvitam Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यः च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं जेतां सुरतौ पङ्गुर्मम मन्दमतिर्गति मत्सर्वस्वपदाम्बुजौ राधा मदनमोहनो दिव्यात् वृन्दारण्यकल्पद्रुमा श्रीमद्रत्नाङ्गर सिंहासनस्थितौ श्रीमद् राधा श्रीलगोविन्ददेवौ पृष्ठालि विसेव्यमानौ स्मरामि श्रीमान् रासरसारम्भी वंशीवटतटस्थित कर्षणवेणुस्वनैर्गोपीरस्व गोपीनाथ श्रियस्तु नः श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरतिसे नमः कृष्ण वर्णम तिषा कृष्णं संगोपांगस्त्रपार्षदं यज्ञ संकीर्तन प्रायर्यजन्ति सुमेधसा नाना शास्त्र विचारणकै निपुणौ सद्धर्म संस्थापकौ लोकानां हितकारिणौ त्रिभुवने मान्य शरण्याकरौ राधा कृष्ण पदारविंद भजनान आनंदेन मत्तालिकौ वंदे रूप सनातन रघुजुगौ श्रीजीव गोपालकौ ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे I welcome all the devotees to the today's session. Before we start lesson 163, let us recap the last lesson, that is 162. And I welcome everybody on the auspicious occasion of Ram Navami today. Hare Krishna, everybody. Now we will start with recap of lesson 162. In 162, basically the Hamsa Gita, part of it has been covered in 162. Balance will be covered today. Now, in this chapter, that is the chapter 13, Lord Krishna explains to Uddhava how human beings who are overwhelmed by sense gratification, they become bound by the three modes of material nature, and how to renounce these modes. Now, we'll go to next slide. Okay. My first question is, what is the nature of Lord Brahma? Lord Brahma, we know. What is his nature? Anybody can cover that, because we have explained that many times.
His body is made of full sattva or intelligence, and
Yes.
he's the leader, the creator, and he's in our current universe. Brahma is a pure devotee. Sorry,
Creator means he is the secondary creator. The
secondary
primary
creator.
creator
Yeah,
is the Supreme Lord. Okay.
yes.
Any other thing? He is the principal
He
demigod. He
he
is the
Brahma
first.
exists without any material cause,
Yes.
Mm. Yeah, he's like
He
again
does the
Swayambhu. He
creation.
appears from the
and he transcends all limitations of material realm.
And he is the first Jiva created by the Supreme Lord.
Supreme Lord, yeah.
Correct.
Acha, my one question is, can he be affected by Maya?
No, no.
No, then how about Brahma Vimohan Leela? He was.
Yeah, he can be affected.
Yogamaya can bewilder him.
Yes, he can be
Means
affected by
Yogamaya can be
Yogamaya.
not
Yes.
by Mahamaya. Correct.
Because he is a very exalted personality, we cannot think of that. There is a verse in Srimad Bhagavatam which says that he cannot be affected by Maya. He is such a great personality. And he knows the Vedas, they were taught by the Supreme Lord himself to him. Okay, we go to the next question. But what are the
he
limitations?
represents the Rajoguna.
Yes, because his responsibility is to create, and for
Yes.
creation, Rajoguna is required. The Sattoguna guna is not required. Okay, but what are his limitations? What he can do and what he cannot do?
Even he has
Hare
a
Krishna,
education of go ahead,
Yes,
ma'am.
yes.
Brahma also has entanglements of the mind, and he's also he does not know how to solve these material problems. So that's why he takes Sharanagati to Lord Hansa.
Okay, that
Because of the big responsibility, because of the big responsibility, he is unable to give the answer because of his mind is also agitated.
okay. You mean though he was he has a very divine stature, he confronts with mental turbulence because of the weight of his responsibilities. Any other point? Even the knowledge, he, as I told you, the Supreme Lord imparted him the Vedic knowledge, but this knowledge and wisdom acquired by him, by the greatest demigod, by individual efforts may fall short. Even though he had all the knowledge, still then, because he was very busy in creating, he had problems in answering the questions of his sons. Okay, we go to the next slide. Genuine understanding depends on what all factors? Genuine understanding. One must seek the refuge of the Supreme
when it comes
Personality
to
of Godhead. Okay, please say the other points.
it, guidance has a very great importance. So, general understanding can't be achieved without the guidance of the spiritual master.
Yes, that is very correct. The Supreme Lord's guidance is required.
Supreme
And
authority.
yes, the Supreme Authority. Then the student should have humility. And we should know that the importance of guidance from a superior authority. If the authority is superior, much superior to the person who is asking for guidance, then he will learn more. If he is a lower person, then the learning will not be there. Then the next question is, what do you understand by interconnectedness of the Supreme Lord and the demigods? They are interconnected, like we are also interconnected with the Supreme Lord. But what is this interconnectedness of the Supreme Lord and the demigods they mean?
The demigods, Hare Krishna Babuji Dandavat Pranam. The demigods are whenever in doubt or in a helpless condition, then they go to the Supreme Lord and they take the help and advice, and they seek the consultation of Supreme Personality of Godhead. In that way, they are connected with Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Yes, yes, one should learn from that. We also should seek the guidance of the Lord. And why do the demigods they depend? Because they, whenever they want clarity and direction, they go to the Supreme Lord. Okay, the next question is, the Lord appeared as Hamsa. What does it signify?
Lord appear as a Hamsa because Hamsa always has the capacity to separate milk from water. That is how Lord took his avatar as a Hamsa to show that he is separating wisdom from Maya.
Okay, you mean divine discretion, the ability to distinguish, like it separates water from the milk, it distinguishes between consciousness and material qualities. And what else? It is a divine response to sincere inquiry, because it was inquired by a sincere devotee. That's why, and Brahma could not answer. That's why the Supreme Lord, he appeared then and there to answer the questions. And the Lord can take many forms to impart wisdom and support the earnest seekers. That's why he appeared as Hamsa. And in earlier times, he has also appeared as a fish, also a boar, also like this. Okay, we go to the next slide, slide 4. What do the sons of Brahma symbolize? The 4 sons of Brahma, Sanak, Sanatana, Sanandana, Sanat Kumara, what do they symbolize? Why they were asking the questions to his father Brahma?
they symbolize the relentless quest for knowledge.
Yes, they always want their knowledge to be improved. And what else?
They don't want to be involved in Maya.
Why the
Yes.
material pleasure, Prabhuji, why material pleasures are fleeting?
Yes, they understood that material pleasures are fleeting. Okay, we go to the next slide. What was Uddhava's question? Uddhava,
Uddhav is want to ask the instructions of yoga which were given to the 4 Kumaras by Krishna.
yes.
Then
Then
they were
Krishna,
mental sons of Lord Brahma, but
okay.
are also recognized from himself.
Yes. Thank you. And the next question is, Brahma could not answer his son's questions. What does this indicate?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I'm
Hare
sorry, I'm late. I'll join late because we didn't have power supply. So
Okay, okay.
Brahma was asked. It shows typical mentality like us. He is also engaged in a creation of this universe, right? So
Yes.
he was so engrossed with that he forgot to see the higher thing and saw that this is in his ability capacity. So he took us to Lord.
It is not that he didn't know, but at
Yeah.
that point of time, it did not strike him. We have to
Right.
understand that way. We go to the next slide. What does the form of swan symbolize?
Yeah, Lord takes a different form. You go ahead, Mataji.
Prabhuji, you can go.
So Lord takes different form, to symbolically communicate the message. It's both things. It's a message and the messaging, how he gives that, right? So in this case, like a swan, he can separate out milk from the water. Similar here, how to separate out the distress, out the conditioning of the soul by pleasure seeking, seeking desire of the human, right? And see the higher purpose. So how to separate out the suffering with the spiritual path. So both are how identified with his appearance itself.
Okay, what do you
It
mean? The
symbolizes
essential.
profound
Yes.
wisdom.
Prabhuji, milk symbolizes the spiritual
Symbolizes
knowledge
deep
and water
wisdom.
symbolizes the material pleasure.
Yeah.
Here
That means the essential capacity to discern the true essence of spiritual knowledge. And secondly, the authentic knowledge comes from the Supreme Lord only and nobody else. He
Right.
knows anything and everything. What others know, that is part only. Okay, we go to. Okay, my next question is, what do material designations do?
So
We have got so many material designations. What do they do?
material designations create ego and covers the mind and senses.
yeah.
Yes, they obscure the true self. And any other point? The mind is always obsessed with
Material pleasure.
With the material
Yes, material
pleasures.
pleasure.
material pleasure, sense objects,
It
and
binds
binds
individuals.
the
It binds
individual.
individuals with rule, without.
We are bound because of that. And what did the sages recognize? These 4 sages, the sons of Brahma, what did they recognize?
Everything in the universe,
Krishna.
everything in the universe is an expression of Krishna's energy.
It is
And
an
he
energy
resides
of
in
the
them.
Supreme
In
Lord.
everything, he resides in everything. In everything.
Nothing exists outside the Supreme Lord, and this symbolizes interconnectedness. Okay, go to the next slide. True understanding arises from what?
So knowing that we are
To
part of
realize
the
it,
Supreme.
Yes, identifying that we are part of the Supreme Lord and practicing
Devotional service
devotional
and connecting
service.
with that Lord. Yeah.
Devotional service, because bhakti is essential to purify oneself. The next question is it enough to renounce the material pleasures?
No.
No.
No. One must
Without understanding one's true nature, we cannot get the fruitivity.
And must
Correct.
practice devotional service. anything not connected with the Lord has no meaning actually. Okay, next slide 10. What was the central question the sons of Brahma asked?
There is a connection between the mind and a sense object. It gives that awareness that for natural tendency towards material gratification. It should be driven by the pursuit of material and sensory pleasure, and material should be driven away as
That
per the connecting to God.
correct. That covers basically, and the mind and the sense object, they dominate and cover the real purpose, right? So
Yes,
How to overcome the material desire?
yes,
How to
like
overcome?
as you have read in text 8 to 10, when Uddhava is asking Krishna that generally human beings know that material life brings great unhappiness, and still they try to enjoy material life. And how he is asking the Lord, how can one in knowledge act just like a dog or a goat? Now the Lord says that a person who is bereft of intelligence, first he what he does, he falsely identifies himself with the material body and mind. And when such false knowledge arises within one's consciousness, material passion, the cause of great suffering, pervades the mind. And by this, the nature, which is by nature, is situated in goodness. Then the mind, contaminated by passion, becomes absorbed in making and changing many plans and material advancement. And thus, by constantly thinking of the modes of material nature, a foolish person is afflicted with unbearable material desires. Okay, we go to the next. What does the question on Krishna's identity asked by Kumaraj they signify? Distinction between
Jivatma and
That's,
Paramatma.
Jivatma and Paramatma. Okay, material bodies are composed of what?
Panchamahabhuta. So all
Mahabhuta.
Yeah.
And when the person or the jiva he dies, then all these pancha mahabhutas they merge into
The same.
elements.
The same Panchabhutas.
yes.
The same
Okay,
tattva.
my last question. What is the role of devotional service? We talk of devotional service, but what is the purpose? If we practice devotional service, then what happens? We will understand what?
It is not, we
Body
cannot escape
relation
from
with the
materialism.
Supreme.
And we will understand the Lord, His
It-
Qualities, His
yeah,
pastimes,
yes.
and
Gives
His
inspiration,
lila.
hope.
Yeah, lila, pastime, his quality. Three things are mentioned here.
It removes
Form,
yes,
fear
qualities,
from
and
the mind.
pastime.
It
yes,
removes
yes.
fear from
It
the
gives
mind
hopes and
and it stirs
inspiration in the
hope
heart
and
of the devotees.
aspiration. Inspiration.
Okay,
Transformative force is achieved by this.
okay. Thank you very much. Now I hand over to Prasad Prabhuji for lesson 163.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Nice recap.
Thank you,
Thank you, Prabhu.
Prabhuji.
Thank you,
Wonderful
sir.
creation. I'm sharing my screen. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, yes, yes.
We can see Prabhuji, yes.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Oh, Sharad Prabhu has done a great, wonderful job. He tried to complete as well as possible. It is very heavy session, but still he tried his level best to complete it as well as possible. One second, I'll put it in a slide. Okay, Prashad. Prabhu, slightly better, Prabhu, from yesterday evening, slightly better, Prabhu.
Okay,
Okay, but like
very
from
good.
fever, it turned to stomach motions. But from yesterday evening, things got controlled. So fully, yeah, I should be able to. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for your concern, Sanjay, Prabhu, and all the devotees for prayers. Hope you are able to see it in slide view. Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Thank you. So let us start straight away. Let's go to the themes. So the first theme, that slide 1, the core identity of the self. So let's understand, let's extract the few most important, whatever Prabhuji has drafted. So, because same taking as it is and understanding is very important for us. So the first one is philosophical framework. Philosophical framework, what it is. See, this theme underscores the fundamental essence of self, setting it apart from the material body and deflating the material states. So we are going to understand from these themes the self. So let us understand. Now the teachings becomes very direct and foundational. So as you know, previous lessons we understand what is that we understand from the last few sessions. We understood the gunas, we understood how to control the mind, and we also understood how to practice bhakti. Yes or no? From last two, maybe 2 sessions. Now in this session, you are going to understand with a deeper question, who is the one experiencing all this? It's a very interesting question, right? Who is the one who is experiencing all these things? So the key teaching here is who is that experiencing is that self Atma. That is the one which is experiencing. This is different from body. This is different from mind. Okay. This is different from changing the material states. Yeah. That is what self Atman. So the body changes. The body changes, yes or no? The childhood and then youth and then old age. We all experience that. Now, the mind also fluctuates for all of us. Yes or no? One time, like when I get appreciation, I'm very happy. One time I get saying that Baba, what is that you're doing? So I become sad. And then sometimes I get confused. Sometimes when I'm doing a deep chanting, I'll be very peaceful. But even though all these things are changing, there is something self remains constant. Yeah. That is self, that is eternal, consciousness, and unchanging. While everything else is temporary and a variable, but self is constant. Prabhuji's Mataji's, it is a slightly difficult philosophy, but let's understand what is that we are talking, and then at end, let's have Q&A so that we'll get a better clarity. Yeah. And I'm sure Sharat Prabhu and Charu Prabhuji will guide us more. Okay. So let us take an example. Most of the times, like State Prabhupada often give example, saying that like you had a child body, but now you have a different body. But you are the same person. This shows that the body changes, but the self does not, Prabhuji's Mataji's. Yeah. That is the what we are talking about, the philosophical framework. Yeah. Let's move to the next theme, that is path of self-realization. Gaining insight in one's true identity is essential for spiritual enlightenment. So I have just pulled the same word what Prabhuji has mentioned because these are very, very important. This is the essence. Gaining insights in one's true identity is essential for spiritual enlightenment. So let us understand what is this particular thing he's talking about. So why the knowledge is so important here? Because without knowing who I am, if you don't know who I am, we are stuck. Most of the times, when you say who I am, I'll say that I identify with the body, I identify with my mental reaction, or with my temporary goals. But self-realization means shifting identity from I am the body or mind to I am Atman. Yeah. So that is eternal self. Yeah. So from a deeper understanding, liberation does not come from changing from external situation, Babaji's, Mataji's. Okay, external situation, by changing external situations, things will not change. Bhakti will not improve. But it comes from correct understanding the identity. Most of the times, 99.99%, our understanding is I am this body, I am this mind, or I am this body. But that correct understanding of that identity is very, very crucial, Prabhuji's, Mataji's. So this presentation, 163 is more talking about that. Yeah. So let us take any example. A devotee facing a difficulty may think that this is happening to my body and mind, but I am not suffering. But I am not suffering. That is understanding brings a strength and detachment. What is that you, Prabhu? What is that you? You are a soul. Do you think the soul has this suffering? Okay. Suppose your property is becoming a problem. Do you think is that matters for soul? Prabhuji's Mataji is explaining it is very easy. But once it goes to a soul level, right? Whatever all the problems which we are facing may not be 100%, but I'm sure 99.9% will doesn't become problems. Yeah. But is that easy? It is not easy. But first, let us understand the knowledge and see how can we adapt in our day-to-day life. Okay. So let us go to the next theme, that is powerful implications. Recognizing the self as a distinct from external experiences leads to a deeper understanding of life and purpose. Until unless we understand that I am not this body, I am the soul, understanding the real purpose, understanding the real life and purpose is a big challenge from Mataji's. So that is a transformation point. So I am not my experiences. Okay. I am not these experiences. I am not this body. I am not this mind. You know what will happen? Reactions will start reducing. You may not be overreacting. Okay. And attachments will reduce. And what happens because of attachments and reactions have come down? The clarity will improve. Yeah. Yes or no? So life shifts from what is happening to me to what is my real purpose. That is what is going to lead Prabhuji's Mataji's. So this leads to purpose-driven life. Okay. And it will have a spiritual focus and detachment from temporary fluctuations. Yeah. So instead of chasing pleasure, okay, avoiding pain, we will seek the truth and realization. Yeah. Agree, disagree. Yeah. So a devotee may face a success or failure, but remain steady because identity is based on soul, not based upon the situation. So let us understand what is this key learning for me, for you all in this particular slide. So this slide is establishing the foundation, Prabhuji's Mataji's, for this entire lesson 1 to 3. You are not this body, or I am not this body, I am not this mind, and I am eternal self, that is Atma. Everything else in this section builds this particular truth, Prabhuji's Mataji's. Yeah. Okay. Hare Krishna. So what is one line takeaway for me from this particular slide? It is always needs to think because there is so much of information. When you are going to the next slide, you need to think what is a takeaway for me. So one line takeaway when I see this entire thing is a real spiritual life begins. Listen very carefully. Real spiritual life begins when we understand that we are this unchanging self, not the changing body or mind. Yeah, that is one line takeaway. Okay, so let me take it to next slide. So Prabhuji's Mataji's, are you able to hear properly? Okay, is the pace is good enough? Because this is a very philosophy. So I want to take your um, opinion. Is the pace and then voice and modulation, is it okay? Is it reasonable?
You're doing pretty
Hare
good,
Krishna.
Prabhuji. You're doing pretty good.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Thank you very much. So moving to the next slide, because I am not at all a mature devotee, Prabhuji's Mataji's. I am very, very immature person. I am just trying to learn the Shastra with the guidance of Sharat Prabhu and Charu Prabhuji. So I need some acknowledgement on how I am moving. That's all. Because I'm just learning now. Okay. So moving to the next theme. That is slide 2. The theme 2 is exploring the state of consciousness. So in this, the first theme is awakened awareness. This is what? Awakened awareness is what? Jagruti. Yeah, we all know what is Jagruti. So let me pull one sentence from this particular slide so that we understand what exactly Jagruti Charu Prabhuji is mentioning from this particular theme. This state epitomizes the everyday mode of perception where interaction with the outer world is facilitated through the senses. To the interaction to the outer world through senses. Let's understand this little more. Now, the teaching this moves from identity to experience. So previous slide, we understood the identity. Now we're slowly moving to experience. Let's understand that. So the first state we're trying to understand is Jagruti state. That is waking state. Okay, we are all in this particular state as of now. Yeah, in this state, we interact with the external world. Agree, disagree? We interact in this Jagrut state with the external world. Through what? Through how do you interact? Through our senses and through our mind. We identify strongly with the body and surroundings in this state. Yes or no? This is what we call it as a normal life. Okay. But the key insight is this is still a conditioned state, Prabhuji's Mataji's. Why it is? Because the perception depending upon the senses, mind, and our gunas. Yeah. So from the deeper understanding, what we will call it as a reality in waking life is a filtered experience. Okay. So let's take one simple example. A devotee may feel that I'm happy because things are going well. So I'm happy because this session has gone extremely well. I'm happy because all the devotees appreciate it for the given session. Yeah. So, but that happiness depending upon the external conditions, depending upon your input. And then I heard a feedback, which you say that Sharad Prabhuji or Charya Prabhu said, what is that? What nonsense you spoke? Okay. Then what happens to me? Okay, so that happiness will turn to sadness. Yes or no? So the happiness depends upon the external conditions. So even in waking experience is actually not absolute realities, Prabhuji's methods. It depends upon the external factors. So that is where I will stop on Jagrati. Even before, not just now, before also as part of multiple sessions, we understood this Jagrati, awakened awareness state. So let's move on. The next state is dream state. Dream state is what is that? Swapna state. Let's understand this. In this realm, the mind disengages from the external stimuli and it creates its own internal experience. Let's understand what does it mean when Prabhuji has mentioned this. Okay. So now we are understanding swapna, which is dreaming state. In this state, listen very carefully, Prabhuji's Mataji's senses are inactive. Are the senses are active? No, senses are inactive. But mind is active still. And reality is intentionally projected. So it is an important shift. What is that? External world disappears. But what is happening? Experiences are continuing. External world is not there, but experiences are continuing. This shows that experience does not depend upon the external objects alone. So experiences, what is that I said? Experiences does not depend only on external objects alone. Yeah. So it depends on the mind and consciousness. So we are talking here, the dreams allows introspection and self-examination, Prabhuji's Mataji's. Introspection and self-examination. Yeah. So the dream state reveals that the mind's power to create reality. See, in a dream, a lion, okay, or a tiger came on my face, attacked me. Will I get scared or not? I will get scared. Yes or no? So it thinks that is the real. Yeah. So that is the example which I mentioned. In a dream, you may feel fear, you may feel joy, you may feel stress. All these things could happen. You all could have experienced. Yes or no? Even though nothing actually happened in the real world outside. Agree, disagree? Everybody has experienced this. This proves that experience is, listen carefully, experience is mind dependent. Yeah. So that is what we understood from dream state, that is swapna. Now let us understand a little more. Then the deep state. Okay. What is this deep sleep state? Not deep state, it's deep sleep state. Here, the conscious withdraws from sensory inputs and thoughts. What happened here? Consciousness is withdrawn fully from sensory input and thoughts. Everything has gone. Now we go a little deeper. What is this? Is being called Shushupti. Yeah, that is a deep sleep state. So in these states, what is all there? There are no thoughts. There are no dreams. Agree, disagree? No thoughts, no dreams. And on top of no sensory experience as well. Yes or no? At even though all these things are not there, we exist. We exist. That is very important. So even when mind is inactive, senses are inactive, the self remains. Okay, the self remains there. A moment of unity with the self. What does it mean? So, temporary experiences of freedom from duality, but it is unconsciousness, but it is not realized. That is the problem with Sushupta state. So, from a deeper insight, deep sleep shows that self exists. Self exists independent of mind and senses. So in a deep sleep, it is a proof for that self still exists and that is independent of our mind senses. Otherwise, Prabhuji's Mataji's, when you really had a good deep sleep, how can you say to the next day, I really had a good sleep? Tell me, Prabhuji's Mataji's. It is simply not possible. Agree, disagree? Yeah. So after a deep sleep, we say that I slept well. Everyone says that. That means that, listen carefully, that means that someone is experiencing that state. What is that someone? That someone is Atman. Okay. See, this is a high philosophy, Prabhuji's Matajis. Please give attention to every word, every sentence, what Prabhuji has mentioned in the slide, and also what I am going to say here. Yeah. So let us move to the next one, that is philosophical importance. So let us understand this. So what is the key information which is mentioned by Prabhuji? I'm going to read the same as it is, and then let us try to understand. Delving into these states illuminates the nature of reality and leads to spiritual realization. Dwelling into these states illustrates the nature of reality and leads to spiritual realization. This is the key conclusion. So there are three states, Prabhuji's Matajis. One is waking, that is external experience. And one other one is dream, that is internal experience. One is deep sleep, that is absence of experience. Are you finding the difference? I am using this experience everywhere. Walking, external experience. Dreaming, internal experience. Deep sleep, absence of experience. But in all these three, something remain constant, Prabhuji's Matajis. What is that? That is me, that is observer, that is self. So the teaching is, I am not the state. I am the one experiencing all these states. Okay. This leads to transcending ordinary awareness. Okay. So from this, what we understand is spiritual realization means going beyond all these states, that into pure consciousness, that is Atman, that is awareness. Yeah. So whether walking or dreaming or sleeping, the self remains Prabhuji's Mataji's. Agree, disagree. Similarly, beyond all changing conditions, your real identity is constant. Okay. So what is a key teaching from this particular slide? This slide reveals a powerful truth, Prabhuji's Mataji's. Listen very carefully, the sentence which I am saying. Experiences changes, states changes, but the self does not change. Therefore, what is the key takeaway? I am not my experiences. I am the experiencer. Yeah. So what is that we understood in previous slide? We identified that I am the Atman. And this slide we understood that how the self appears across different states. Yeah. So initially we identify identity and then experience and then observer. Yeah. So in the what is the summary in this slide? If you ask about in few words, walking, dream, and deep sleep. Listen carefully. Walking, dream, or deep sleep all change. But self-witnessing that remains constant. The self which is witnessing is remain constant. So in slide 1, what did we understood, Prabhuji's Mataji's? Who am I? That you understood. In slide 2, what do you understood? What I experience. Okay. So Prabhuji's Mataji's, this is very high philosophy. Okay. So please give attention. Okay. To the slides and also for the explanation for the each theme. Okay. So now we completed first 2 slides. Is everybody is with me? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu.
Yes,
Thank you,
Prabhuji.
Sanjay. Thank you very much, Sanjay Prabhu. Thank you very much, Raksha Mataji, for confirming. Okay. So, because this is very high philosophy, I'm just trying to ask a little more. I'm extremely sorry for that. Okay. So I'm moving to slide 3. That is theme
No,
3.
don't be sorry.
I'm sorry, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, I'm saying don't be sorry. You're doing so nicely. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you very much. Thank you for your encouragement, Prabhu. I am absolutely zero in front of you all. Yeah, absolutely zero. Okay.
Absolutely zero, but
It is
deep
just all your
realizations.
mercy. These are just your mercy.
Absolutely zero, Prabhu, but you have such a very deep realization, even this physical discomfort. That's amazing.
It's all just devotees' prayers, Prabhu. Okay, and your wonderful slides, Prabhu. That's all. Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. Let's move to the next theme. That is theme 3, transcending material existence. Let's understand the first theme, that is talking about spiritual discipline. Okay. So let us take the same word what Prabhuji has exactly mentioned and try to understand. Escaping the confines of materiality demands rigorous spiritual practices that nurture self-awareness and connection to the divine. So let us understand a little more what Prabhuji is trying to explain through this particular theme. Now, the teaching is moving slowly from understanding the consciousness to transforming it. That is very important, Prabhuji's Matajis. I am doing japa from last 3 years, but what is that is got changed? Or are you stuck with the same challenges? You have some bad habits. Are you carrying? But at least some of them reduced. What is the transformation? The check is very important, Prabhuji's Matajis. Check is very important. So we are slowly moving to that. So what is that this particular theme is talking about, or this slide is talking about? So the key point is we cannot escape material conditioning, Prabhuji's Matajis, just by thinking, just by understanding. So what is that we need? We need sadhana, that is spiritual discipline. Spiritual discipline is required for transformation. Yeah. So what is that includes in that sadhana? Chanting. Yeah. Self-regulation is very important. And devotional practices which is being suggested by acharyas. Yeah. In Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. Let us understand why this discipline is very important. Because Prabhuji's Matajis, if we don't have discipline, right, mind is very conditioned. We cannot understand the mind. It's a very, very tricky. It's a very conditioned mind because this mind I'm carrying from hundreds, thousands, lakhs, billions of janmas. Yeah, it's very conditioned. Please remember that. And our habits are very deep, Prabhuji's Matajis. Habits are very deep. It is not easy to give up. Tendencies will go back. That is the reason everyday chanting 16 malas is important. Everyday reading at least 1 or 2 slokas of Bhagavatam is important for us. That discipline is required. And having a great association is important for us. Otherwise, Prabhuji, is going up is difficult. Falling down is very, very easy. Yeah. That is the reason this Friday, Saturday, Sunday satsang for us is important, very much important. Yeah. Falling down is very easy, Prabhuji's Matajis. So our habits are very deep. Our mind is very conditioned. And our gunas are very, very active. Yeah. So transformation is required. And for transformation, Prabhuji's Matajis, we need what? Consistent effort. Yeah. So spiritual discipline, if we have that spiritual discipline, right, it purifies our consciousness, Prabhuji's Matajis, and stabilizes our mind and connects us to divine. Prabhuji's Matajis, please remember that this is a lifetime opportunity somehow Krishna has granted to all of us. We cannot afford to lose it. We cannot afford to lose it. We have to make next step. If at least if I cannot go back to Godhead, we have to make to the next step and get a better janma. Yeah, agree? Yeah. So we need to have this regular routine. That is what is Prabhuji is talking about, spiritual discipline here in the first theme. Let's move to the next theme. Okay, the power of devotion. The power of devotion. The pure devotee acts as a conduct to liberation and cultivate love and surrender. So now comes to the most important shift, Prabhuji's Mataji's. Discipline alone is not enough. If I am a very good discipline, okay, but is that good enough? No. But the real power is devotion, which is what? Bhakti. That is what is Prabhuji is pointing in this particular B. I am very much disciplined. I wake up at 4 o'clock. But if that devotion is not there, no, what's the purpose? What's the purpose? I go to gym. I wake up at 4 and go gym. But if the devotion is not there, that your discipline has gone waste. Krishna has given the discipline, but what did he use for that? That is the reason immediately after discipline, Prabhuji has put the power of devotion. Yeah. So devotion is not just a practice. It is not ritual, Prabhuji's Mataji's. Remember this, that devotion is relationship with Supreme Personality of Godhead. The devotion is relationship with the divine, relation with Krishna. Yeah. So this particular thing is emphasizing devotion creates a connection. Yeah. Devotion with Krishna creates a connection for us. And it creates empathy. Automatically it brings surrender for us. Agree, disagree. So the deeper understanding of the bhakti does what discipline alone cannot do. So it transforms our heart, Prabhuji's Mataji. You put your hand in our heart. Okay. I am being listening these sessions and doing japa from last 2 to 3 years for sure. Yeah. So what transformation had? Transformation in the heart happened or not? Let's understand that. Is that desires being redirected or not? I feel very happy when I'm closing all my eyes. And these days, from last 2 weeks, I am putting uh, ear caps in my ears. I got when Puri, I got the ear caps. When I'm putting it right, I could realize the taste of Mahamantra. I'm not saying Prabhuji's Mataji's, the taste is very consistent for me. But I could hear the taste when I'm completely closing my eyes and I'm closing my ears. Yes or no? So means what is happening? Okay, sometimes I definitely get the taste. Means the desire is changing for me. Agree, disagree. When that particular desire changes, when I'm getting higher taste, you know what will happen, Prabhuji's Mataji's? There is one thing going to happen. I will get a higher satisfaction. You know, we all seen Charu Prabhuji is preparing the presentations. What is that he is getting? He's had that higher taste. Because of that higher taste, what is that he's getting? He is getting immense satisfaction. Prabhuji's Mataji's. I'm just picking an example here. Yeah. So bhakti is not an escape. Actually, bhakti is an inner transformation. It's not just a tick mark, Prabhuji's. I did 16 malas, I did one sloka, I gave one session. No. You have to ask ourselves what transformation is happening. Okay. That is what the Prabhuji is talking about, the power of devotion here. Yeah. So a person may try to control the mind by force or by struggle, but when they chant sincerely, when hear about the Krishna Katha, they feel that natural attraction comes to the spiritual life. Prabhuji's Mataji's, forcefully we cannot do for lifetime. We may do for 6 months, we may do it for 1 year, or we may do it for 2 years. But that attraction we have to get, Prabhuji's Mataji's, for the spiritual life. Okay, automatically you get that attraction. That is power of devotion. Yeah. So let me move to the next theme. That is the transformative outcome. So the true liberation transcends the 3 states of consciousness. This is what Prabhuji has mentioned. Let me repeat again. The true liberation transcends three the 3 states of consciousness. Now we reach the highest teaching, Prabhuji's Mataji's. Earlier, what we saw, we have seen Jagrat, which is waking state, and we have seen Swapna, which is dreaming state. We have seen Shushupti, that is deep state. Now, okay, now we are introducing another state. Please listen very carefully. That is 4th state. That is called Turiya state. Turiya state. Yeah. So let us understand what is the Turiya state. It is beyond mind. It is beyond senses. It beyond all our states. It is pure spiritual awareness. This is not unconsciousness, Prabhuji's Mataji's, but we are fully aware spiritual state. So from a deeper understanding, Turiya means consciousness aligned with the divine, identity establishing with self, freedom from material influence. Now you may ask a question here. Prabhuji, how do I experience this Turiya state? Yeah, it is not very easy, but it is possible. As I mentioned, when you completely close your eyes, you completely hear it, close your ears. When you focus on every syllable of the Mahamantra, Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and you feel that your Guru Maharaj is sitting with you, okay, entire parampara is sitting with you, okay, entire parampara is sitting with you, and do the japa, and think that your Mahamantra is being listened by the entire parampara, then automatically you will feel that happiness comes from you, Prabhuji's Mataji's. It is not possible to explain, but it is only possible to experience. Okay. I can only, anybody can explain about the taste of gulab jam for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours. But still you may not feel it. But you just to take that gulab jam and take a piece and put it in our mouth. You don't need explanation, Prabhuji's Mataji's. Agree, disagree? This is exactly similar to that. I have taken a material example so that we all understand. Okay. So it is not, okay, Hare Krishna. So laborious is not running away, it is raising higher awareness. A realized devotee lives in the world. A realized devotee lives in this world, but remains unaffected. Because conscious, but is that person's consciousness is completely fixed in Krishna. Prabhuji's Mataji's today, we could see those devotees. We could see those devotees. So living the Turiya state is like awareness. Okay. So let us understand what is this key teaching from this slide. So there are 3 themes here. This slides completes the movement. We need discipline and then inculcate devotion and then have transformation. Yeah, that is what is, and experience it. Okay, that is what is liberation. So what is final understanding for us? Spiritual life is not about escaping from the world. Listen very carefully. Spiritual life is not about escaping the world, but transforming consciousness beyond it. Okay. So now we have completed 3 slides, Prabhuji's Mataji's. Let's do the recap with one word. In slide 1, we understood identity of self happened. In slide 2, state of consciousness happened. In slide T, transcending all states, that is Turiya state. That is that we understood. Okay. So one line summary of this particular slide 3 is through discipline, listen very carefully, through discipline and devotion, through discipline and devotion. That is Prabhuji only mentioned. I am not creating anything new. Prabhuji's Mataji's here. Through discipline, first theme. Second theme, through devotion and conscious rise beyond all states into the pure spiritual awareness. That is what? Turiya state. Yeah. Hare
So
Krishna.
Prabhuji, if I may interrupt here,
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. Please, please.
the key word here in the fourth Turiya state, the harmonization with divine will. Please explain to
Yes.
them.
Yes, Prabhu. Harmonize. Yeah, consciousness harmonized with the divine. Yeah. Yes, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for adding that point.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Because in this state,
Divine.
you are really directly connecting with yourself, with
Yes, sir.
Krishna, with the
With
Supreme
Krishna.
Lord.
With Supreme Lord. Yeah. Yes, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. So I need those additional points, Prabhu, so that this presentation will be complete. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much, Prabhu. It is like every slide is Purnam, Prabhu. Every theme is like a Purnam, complete. Yeah. Okay.
I've selected those words very carefully, because I have to do it in minimum number of words, but still convey what is there in the text,
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you. Thank you. So slide 4. Okay. That is theme 4, the influence of sages and devotion. Okay. So what is the first theme? The sages enlightenment. The sages enlightenment. So the 4 Kumaras led by, okay, Sanaka, Sri Sanaka, exemplify seekers who attain clarity through divine guidance. Yeah. So now we start resulting the entire teaching. The Kumaras start with an inquiry and then approached Brahma and received grace from Lord Hamsa. And now they attain clarity and realization. So overall, this shows that the spiritual progress, okay, follows a process. What is a process? Inquiry, humility, guidance, and realization. This is the path, Prabhuji's Mataji's. So from a deeper understanding, okay, enlightenment is not sudden and it is not it is not accidental, Prabhuji's Mataji's. It is a guided transformation. Yeah, through Guru, through Siksha Guru or Diksha Guru. Yeah, that is a guided transformation. It's very important for us. So a sincere devotee hears from Guru and he studies scriptures because self-understanding. Swa Adhyaya is also very important. Studying scriptures. And is that is good enough? Hearing from Guru, studying scriptures, is that good enough? No. Practicing regularly. It's very important. Gradually that develops clarity and realization. Okay, just like a Kumaras. Okay, let's move to the next thing. Already 9 o'clock. So, but still in slide 4, because this is very heavy slides, I will try to wrap up as well as possible. I will try to see, okay, the best, how can I do? Yeah, moving to the next theme, that is essence of pure devotion. So, their adoration of Lord Hamsa highlights that the true fulfillment comes from relationship with divine. Okay, the adoration of Lord Hamsa highlights that true fulfillment comes from relationship with the divine. Now the teaching reaches its highest conclusion, not knowledge, not renunciation, but pure devotion. See here, that is what the B theme is talking about. The Kumaras are already wise, okay, but still engage in devotion. This shows that real fulfillment comes from relationship with Krishna. So devotion completes the knowledge. Okay, devotion stabilizes the realization. Devotion gives lasting satisfaction. Okay, that is why bhakti, the final stage of realization. Yeah, yes or no? So many devotees say that even after understanding the philosophy, real happiness comes only through chanting and service. Philosophy doesn't give you that satisfaction, that happiness. That actual practice of chanting and service helps us. This is the essence of Bhakti, Prabhuji's Mataji's. Yeah. So I'm moving to the next thing. That is collective wisdom and community. The collective experiences of sages reinforce that the spiritual truth emerges in community. Spiritual truth emerges in community. This is very practical and beautiful teaching. The Kumaras are not isolated seekers, Prabhuji's Matajis. Please remember that. The Kumaras are not isolated seekers. They are a community of seekers. This shows that spiritual growth happens not just individually. It is not possible, Prabhuji's Matajis. I sit alone or I go to Vrindavan, I take the japa bag, it will happen. No, it will not happen. It is not just individually. It is through Sangha. What is that? That is through association. From a deeper insight, association provides the support. Association provides clarity. Association provides reinforcement. Prabhuji's Mataji's, ask yourself, this association, how much clarity it is giving you? This association, how much support it is giving you? Yeah, ask yourself. That is why spiritual life is strengthened through discussion, hearing together, shared realization. Okay. So you have to share your realization. Yeah. Then I can strengthen my spirituality. That is the reason at the end we have questions. Agree, disagree. So Kirtan, classes, group discussions, all these things, whatever we are having, right? Very important. Yeah. So what is the conclusion here? Understanding the teaching, this section presents a complete picture of self, consciousness, and liberation. It shows how the philosophy becomes realization and reflection. It also invites us to reflect where am I in this journey? Still identifying, am I still identifying the body or observing the mind and practicing devotion? We have to question ourselves. So this reminds us a spiritual life is a process of growth. Okay. So what is final message? Yeah. The liberation comes when identity is very clear, consciousness is purified, devotion is established, and life becomes connected with the divine in all situations. Even in the previous slide also Prabhuji has mentioned. So we have to connect with the divine in all situations, Prabhuji. not just when you are sorrow. Okay. Yeah. So what is key teachings? Yeah. So the goal is not just to know the self, but live the relationship with the divine. That is what it is. Yeah. With that, we are completing slide 4. Okay. So what is a key takeaway for us from this particular slide? True realization is a complete when knowledge matures into devotion and is strengthened through spiritual association. That's very important, Prabhuji Mataji. Spiritual association is very, very important for all of us. So I am moving with this to next slide, slide 5. Okay. Hare Krishna. Hopefully all with me. But unfortunately, I could only come to this slide 5. Okay, let's move little fast. What is first theme? That is nature of consciousness. Okay, the nature of consciousness, that is the first theme. So in this, let us understand 3 states of awareness. This text outlines waking, dreaming, and deep sleep as states of consciousness influenced by the modes of nature. Now the teaching becomes more analytical. Instead of just describing the self, the text emphasizes how consciousness operates. So the 3 states, which is Jagrat, Swapna, or Sushupti. Okay. Jagrat, you know that interacting with senses. Swapna, you know that mind is creating internal reality. And Sushupti, absence through and perception. The important point from this particular thing is the states are influenced by gunas. That means that what we experience is not absolute. It depends upon our mind, our senses, and material nature. So these states are conditioned of mind, not of the self. Yeah. So in walking, we interact with the world. In dream, we experience without the world. But in deep sleep, there is no experience. But yet I remain are there. Okay, that is what is these 3 states of awareness. I'm moving to the next theme, that is witnessing consciousness. That is the soul distinct from the 3 states, acting as an observer. Acting as an observer. The soul is distinct from those states. Please remember that. Soul is distinct from those states. Now we are slightly understanding little more detailed, Prabhuji's, Mataji's. But some of these already we learned from the previous slides. Because this is with BBT text and purpose, Prabhuji has given further details. Yeah. So this is most important teaching here. So the self Atmani is not a waking state. It is not a dream state. It is not a deep sleep state, but the observer of all these 3. Okay. This is introduced the concept of witness, that is Sakshi. So from deeper inside, experience changes, but the experiencer does not. Okay, so what is this emphasizing is the essence of soul remains unchanged. So this means when a mind changes, thoughts changes, body changes, the self remains constant. Yeah, agree? Hare Krishna. So let's move to the next theme, that is theme 2, that is illusion versus reality. Let us understand what is this illusion versus reality. The first thing what Prabhuji has drafted here is false identification. So the spirit soul has no inherent connection to the material world. The spirit soul has no inherent connection to the material world, Prabhuji's, Mataji's. Now the teachings becomes very sharp. The problem is our false identification. We think I am this body. We think I am this experience. We think this is me. But the truth is the soul has no real connection with this matter. So connection appears because of identification, which is what? Connection appears because of false identification. That is ahankara. So the bondage is not physical. It is a mental and conceptual. Please remember that. So the bondage is not exactly there, but it is a mental bondage and it's a conceptual bondage. And Prabhuji's Mataji's, it is not that easy. Sadhana is very important for us. So just an example, actor identifies the role. He cries, he loves, but actually he is a different from the role. Agree, disagree. Yeah. He might be playing a beggar, but he will take the bench car and he will go home. Yeah. Similarly, we are identifying with his body and mind. Yeah. So next theme, Maya and liberation. The material world and its attraction are transient and deceptive. And we all know these Prabhuji's Mataji's. The definition of Maya, which is illusion, means seeing something is real, which is actually a temporary. The world is not false. Please remember this. World is not false, but our perception is mistaken here. So this particular theme is highlighting that liberation means transcending illusion. So from a deeper insight, liberation is not leaving the world. It is seeing the reality or seeing it correctly. So when we understand that I am soul, I am not a body, then illusion automatically breaks, Prabhuji's Mataji's. Okay. So Srila Prabhupada explains rope, some of his examples in his purpose, he says that rope is seen as a snake because of what? Fear. When the knowledge comes, fear disappears. Similarly, wrong identification, suffering. Right knowledge, we are free from that suffering. Yeah? Agree? So what is a one-line summary from this particular thing? We suffer not because of reality, but because we misidentify ourselves with it. Because of that, we are having this suffering, Prabhuji's Mataji's. Yeah. So let's move to the next slide. Hare Krishna. That is slide 6. That is first theme 3. We are moving to theme 3. That is Krishna consciousness as liberation. Okay. What is that? Krishna conscious as a liberation. That is theme 3 we are understanding. So let us understand the first one, surrender to Krishna. True freedom comes from situating oneself in Krishna consciousness. Let us understand this very carefully. True freedom comes from situating oneself in Krishna consciousness. Now, the teaching becomes very clear and direct. Earlier, we saw that the self is different from body. We all understood that. Consciousness changes. We understood that. Illusion comes from misidentification. We understood that. Now, the question is, how do we become free? Now we are slowly entering into the real subject, Prabhuji's Mataji's. How do we become free? We understood the problem, but what is the solution? We are getting into that. So the answer is surrendering to Krishna. That is what? Sharanagati. That means what? Shifting the identity, aligning our consciousness, depending upon divine. Okay. So freedom is not with external independence. It is a freedom from the material desires and a false ego. Okay. So the false ego, what is that? Ahankara is actually binds the soul. Ahankara creates identity illusion. But Krishna consciousness dissolve this false identity. Again, I want to repeat this sentence, very, very important sentence. Krishna consciousness, whatever practices we are doing, dissolves this false identity. What is that false identity or the false ego? That is ahankara. Yeah. So a devotee who sincerely chants, begin feels that less ego automatically happens. See, what is the difference in this group, the outside world? Here the ego levels are very low. Anxiety levels are low. Attachments are low. Yeah, agree, disagree. Nobody is putting so much effort for acquiring lands. Nobody is doing that. Okay. Ego levels are low. It's just because, okay, identity is shifting towards Krishna, Prabhuji's Mataji's. For all of us, Krishna is in center. Not our properties are in center. That is the difference, Prabhuji's Mataji's. Yeah. Let's move to the next theme, that is role of devotion. Engaging in devotion is essential for overcoming confusion and suffering. Now, this is emphasizing strongly. Bhakti is not operational, it is essential for us, for going back for liberation, for going back to Godhead. Why? Because our mind is confused, desires are strong, gunas are active. So, devotion does what knowledge alone cannot do. Knowledge is required, but on top of that, devotion does what knowledge cannot do. It purifies our mind, Prabhuji's Mataji's. It stabilizes our consciousness. It reveals our true identity. What is our true identity? We are eternally servant for Krishna. That is our true identity. Yeah. So from a deeper insight, devotion is a pathway to self-understanding. Without devotion, knowledge remains theoretical, Prabhuji's Mataji's. Okay. Without devotion, knowledge is just theoretical. Copy paste. That's all. But it doesn't help. With devotion, knowledge becomes what? Realization. Yeah. Over there, knowledge is theoretical. Here, the knowledge becomes realization. Yeah. So a person studying philosophy may still struggle, but once who realizes this and who chants, who does the service for the Guru Parampara, experiences the clarity and peace, Prabhuji Smintalis. Yeah. So let's understand. Okay. Let's understand. Let's move to the next theme. That is theme 4, the nature of self. Okay. So the self, the soul is eternal and unchanging, unlike the main material body. Now the teachings reinforce the identify with, again, the body is temporary, the body is changing. Okay, the body is subjected to birth and death, but the self, which is eternal, which is Atman, eternal, constant, and beyond change. Yeah. So realization, this leads to freedom from birth and death. So what is that we understood? Bondage comes from identifying with body. Liberation comes from identifying with the self. Yeah. So a devotee understands, I am not this body. I am servant of Krishna. So by understanding that I am servant of Krishna, what it is helping us, it is removing fear of loss. Yes or no? I did not got anything to this world. I'm not going to take back anything from this world. So it removes fear. It the most important thing, today for everybody, the fear of death. You go and ask anybody in this world, Prabhuji Mataji, so what is the most fear? They will say death, because they have to give up everything. But for a devotee, that death, that fear will reduce. At some point of time, it will go to zero. Again, I'm telling you, at some point of time, when the death comes, the person may be feeling happy because I'm leaving this world, I'm going back to God. Yeah. And also it removes the fear of change. Yeah. Prabhuji's Mataji, this is highest philosophy, highest subject. And we are studying Bhagavatam. Yeah. So mastery over the mind and senses. That is theme B. The soul is the master, but can become enselved by the material desires. This is what Prabhuji has mentioned. This is a very powerful insight. In reality, the soul is master of mind and senses, but due to conditioning, role reverses. Mind plus senses become the master, and soul become what? Servant. That is so patrick situation, Prabhuji's Mataji's. This is because of bondage. Krishna consciousness helps to restore the natural position. Soul is the master. Mind is to be controlled by the soul. Senses to be engaged properly. Exactly reverse is supposed to happen, Prabhuji's Mataji's. And that is the knowledge which is Bhagavatam is giving to us. Yeah. Yeah. We are so fortunate. We are so fortunate to understand this knowledge. And then we have to start practicing it. So from a deeper insight, real freedom is regarding regaining the control over the mind. What is real freedom, Prabhuji Mataji? Regaining control over the mind. Yeah. Agree, disagree. That is only through discipline, through chanting. Yeah. Otherwise, it is not possible, Prabhuji Mataji. Yeah. So by surrendering, what is the summary of this particular slide? By surrendering to Krishna, we realize our eternal identity and regain mastery over the mind and senses. That is what is going to happen, Prabhuji's Mataji. So let me move to the next slide, slide 7. Okay, hope everybody is with me, Prabhuji's Mataji. Hare Krishna. Okay, now slide 7,
Yes.
that is theme 5.
Yes,
That is, thank you very much, Prabhuji. Theme 5, that is philosophical insights on material existence. Let's understand this. In this, we have AB and AB. So understanding the duality. Let's understand that. Okay, this text discusses the illusionary nature of duality and need to distinguish between the temporary and eternal. So now the teachings becomes more philosophical and subtle. So what is duality? We all know, Prabhuji's Mataji. I'll go a little fast. Seeing the life in terms of pleasure or pain, success or failure, gain or loss, that is duality. We all know that. These opposites dominate. Okay, material experience. But the key point is the duality is illusionary. Okay, temporary, but it's not absolute. Why? Because all these experiences comes from body and mind, and all are influenced by gunas and constantly change. So the real wisdom is learning to distinguish this temporary anitya versus eternal nitya. Without this discrimination, we remain entrapped. It's very important. Without discrimination, we remain trapped. Reactions and emotions, emotional fluctuations. So it's very important, Prabhuji. Now I'm moving to the next theme, that is detachment from material goals. Detachment from material goals. So we all know this. Material success and sense gratification are ultimately futile. It's very temporary. Now the teachings becomes very practical. This world teaches that achieve the success, you will be happy. But I'm telling you in my practical life, okay, it will never happen. You achieve the success, your mind will say, you supposed to achieve the success 3 years back. And you stupid fellow, you achieved now, you are becoming happy, and next minute you are upset. I got a promotion, for example, you think. And your mind, you 1 second you are happy. After after a next minute, he will say that you supposed to get this promotion 3 years back, but now you stupid fellow, you are happy. Then even after getting promotion, you are lost. This is practical experience, Prabhuji's Mataji, is before Krishna consciousness. I'm not telling anything theory. I experienced that. Okay. This pursuit leads to temporary satisfaction, repeated desire, eventual frustration. Because material goals cannot satisfy the soul, Prabhuji Mataji. But a deeper understanding, the problem is we expect permanent happiness. Okay. We are expecting permanent happiness from temporary things. That's a problem for us. Yeah, this leads to endless cycle. Desire, attachment, again dissatisfaction. Again desire, attachment, dissatisfaction. Therefore, detachment is very important, Prabhuji's Mataji's. Yeah. So not reject of life, but right understanding of its limits. That's very important. A person may achieve a wealth, a status, but still feels emptiness. So many times I hear this. Is a director, but still wealthy and status, still feel the emptiness. Because soul needs spiritual fulfillment, Prabhuji Mataji. These days, I'm having multiple discussions with my team members, with my superiors, okay, with my boss. Okay, I am just telling one thing. Just chant, give 5 minutes to Krishna, give 10 minutes to Krishna, and chant Hare Krishna Mantra. I'm giving feedback. Material duality creates illusion, and material goals cannot give lasting happiness. Material duality creates illusion, but material goals cannot give lasting happiness. Yeah, Hare Krishna. So I'm moving to the next theme, theme 6. That is divine nature of Krishna, the divine nature of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the theme A. Krishna is the ultimate source of all qualities beyond the modes of nature. Now the teaching reaches the highest point. After understanding the self, after understanding illusion, after understanding the detachment, the text introduces Krishna, that is Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna is beyond the gunas, Prabhuji's Mataji's. Krishna is beyond the material nature. Krishna is the source of all qualities. Unlike Krishna is not conditioned. Krishna is not influenced. Krishna is not changing. Yeah. So his nature is loving. His nature is detached. And he is a well-wisher of all beings. That is what is even Bhagavad Gita is talking. Yeah. So from this we understand that Krishna is the absolute reality. Just like a sun source of light, Krishna is the source of all existing Prabhuji's Mataji's. Yeah. Then the next theme, that is B, that is transcendental qualities. Krishna's qualities are superior and untouched by the material influence. This is the most important distinction. In the material world, qualities are temporary and mixed and influenced by gunas. But the Krishna's qualities are pure and transcendental. We have seen so many Leelas, Prabhuji's Mataji's. This means that his love is pure, his love is pure, his knowledge is complete, his nature is eternal. So that is why connecting with Krishna leads happiness, leads liberation, leads going back to Godhead, leads satisfaction, because he is beyond illusion. And by connecting with him, we also rise beyond illusion. Yeah. You connect to devotees, you get their qualities. In the same way, you connect Krishna, you will get these qualities. Okay. A devotee chanting Krishna's name gradually become peaceful, gradually detached, gradually become spiritually aware, because they are connecting with a transcendental reality. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So what is that key teaching from this theme 6? Krishna is beyond the material nature, and connecting with him leads happiness, liberation. Yeah. Hare Krishna. So what is overall summary of this particular slide? When we understand the limitations of this material life and connect with Krishna, we move from illusion to transcendence. That is one line summary I could think of Prabhuji's Mataji's when I see this particular slide. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Shall we move to the next slide? Slide 8. Okay, slide 8. That is theme 7. The role of sages and devotees. It's very important, Prabhuji's Mataji's. Multiple times we discussed, but still it is very important. Okay, worship of glorification. This text concludes with the sages and acknowledgement of Krishna's divine nature through worship and devotion. So now we reach the final accumulating and teaching. So after inquiry and discrimination, understanding the self, understanding the transcending illusion, the final response of the sages is worship with devotion. Worship with what? Devotion. This is very important, Prabhuji. Real knowledge does not end up with theory, does not end up with analysis. It ends up with glorification of divine. That is what is Bhagavatam. Yeah. The spiritual realization naturally leads to humility, devotion, and appreciation of Krishna. Yeah. So from this we understand that, okay, the heart expresses the bhakti, loving devotion. That is what is the true Prabhuji's Mataji's. So realization is not only for individual and it is strengthened by community. That is Sangha. Yeah. So that is what we have seen. That is the reason we chant together. We do Kirtan together. We understand Bhagavatam together. And together we glorify Krishna. Together we serve the community. Yeah. That is very important. So that is the conclusion, Prabhuji's Mataji's. Yeah. Distinction between the soul and matter. We need to do that. And that is the conclusion for us, Prabhuji's Mataji's. Because we do not have much time, I am running this little fast. The reason is we discussed this multiple in Prabhuji's Mataji's. One line summary of this particular slide is, okay, the journey of lesson 163 ends with the true realization begins. That is the devotion with Krishna. Yeah. So I'm moving to the next theme, next slide, Prabhuji's Mataji's. That is break. There is a break, but I am moving it. That is Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura summaries which we are getting. But here the lessons are very, very similar and there is a slight variation or slight additional, not a variation, slight addition. Yeah. So let us understand from this particular slide 10. That is first theme. That is distinction between Jiva and material state of consciousness. We understand Prabhuji's Mataji's, the three states of consciousness, the wakeful state, okay, and the wakeful state we understand, then the dream state we understand, and what is the third state? The deep sleep state also we understand Prabhuji's Mataji's. And again, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has also given the similar explanation. Yeah, okay, similar explanation he has given. So, what is that? Okay, it is talking about all the things are very, very similar. Okay, so what is that is telling is after a deep sleep, we say that I don't know anything, but that shows that ignorance, not realization. Yeah. So what is that we are talking here? The role of Jiva. Here, Vishwanath Chakravarti talk about the Jiva. Jiva is nothing but Prabhuji's Mataji, it is a soul. The Jiva is what? Observer. The Jiva is nothing but a soul. The Jiva transcends these states, existing an external observer. Okay, this is the most important Vishwanath Chakravarti teaching here. The soul is not walking, not dreaming, not a sleeping state. It is a witness of all these three states. That is what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur also says. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur strongly emphasizes that the self exists beyond all these states. So stages changes, but observer remains. This is the key distinguish. The soul or the jiva is not state of consciousness. So you say that I was dreaming, I slept deeply, but actually that means that you were separate from those states, that you are jiva or Atman. That is what it is talking about. Yeah. Okay. Hare Krishna. Hope you are following. Okay. So next, transcendental nature of jiva. The jiva essence remains independent of the material experience. This is where the Vishwanath Chakravarti goes a bit deeper. Okay. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur adds that, okay, the soul is transcendentally independent, meaning it is not created by these states. It is not affected by these states. It is not limited by the states. Yeah, Hare Krishna. So what is the key teachings from here? Okay, I am not waking, I am not dreaming, I am not sleeping. I am the one who is experiencing all these three. Hare Krishna. Okay, hope you all with me. Yeah, waking state, dreaming state, and deep sleep are the material states. But the soul is eternal, observer beyond them. Yeah, that is what is this slide 10 is talking about, Prabhuji's Mataji's. Now I'm moving to slide 11. Okay, I am slightly moving fast. Okay, so if you have any questions, you may again refer the slides and get a better understanding. Because we are already at 9:30, I will try to take 10 more minutes and then I will open up Q&A session, Prabhuji's Mataji's. The slides are very heavy. The philosophy very heavy. That is the reason it is taking little more time, Prabhuji's Mataji's. I am extremely sorry for that. Okay. So the next theme, what is this particular theme 2 is talking about? That is illusionary bondage of material identification. So what is this? The first one is false ego. This text illuminates how the false ego, okay, ensures the soul within the material consciousness. Now Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur goes little deeper. Okay, so earlier we saw soul is witness, okay, states of materialness. Now the question is, why does soul is still feel bound or jiva is still bound? The answer is because Vishnu Chakravarti is talking about ahankara. Prabhuji is very rightly highlighted that letter, ahankara. That is what false ego. False ego means I am the body, I am this mind, this is me, that is mine, this is mine, this is me. This creates attachment, fear, desire, suffering. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur emphasizes the problem is not the word. The problem is wrong identity. This particular themes are highlighting that this false identity covers, listen very carefully, this false identity covers our natural bliss of Atma. Yeah, the soul is naturally blissful. It is free. But due to this ahankara, it experiences limitations. It experiences suffering. This is what additional flavor Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has added. And also Prabhuji has added for all of us in this particular slide. Yeah, hope everybody is with me. Now I am going to the next theme, that is theme B, that is path of liberation. To break free, one must relinquish the deceptive identity and align with Supreme. Let's understand little and move to the next slide. Now, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives a solution here. So let us understand what is the solution. Liberation is not changing the external life, but changing the identity. What is the changing the identity? The process of recognizing the false identity. That is first step. And the second step is let us identify. Okay, let's go off the identify with this body and mind, and then align with supreme consciousness, that is Krishna. That is the solution Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is giving here. This alignment leads to detachment, clarity, and freedom. But some of these points we also learned from the previous slides as well. Agree, disagree? Yeah. So the key teachings from this particular slide is bondage comes from false identity. Listen very carefully. Bondage comes from false identity, but liberation comes from correct identity. That is what this thing is talking about. Okay. Hare Krishna. So let's move to the next slide. So what is one line summary? The soul is free. Okay. The soul is actually free, but the false ego which we have, right, that is creating bondage. That is Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur is telling in this slide for us. Liberation comes by shifting the identity to Krishna consciousness. Yeah. Hare Krishna. So with this, I'm moving to the next slide, slide 12. What is this slide 12 is talking about? The knowledge and perception of reality. Okay. The knowledge and perception of the reality. In that we have two themes, that is A and B. A, illusion of duality. Material existence is described as an illusion, that is Maya, where the belief is separateness from the Supreme is misguided. So Vishwanath Chakravarti goes even deeper. How this illusion actually operates. Okay. Earlierly we have saw that false ego creates misidentification. Now, what is the result of this misidentification? That is because of dvandva, that is duality. So I versus others, mine versus yours, happiness versus suffering. So, but Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that the division is not real. This division is because of Maya. Okay, Hare Krishna Prabhuji's Mataji. So hope you all understood that particular first theme. So I'm moving to the next theme, that is true knowledge. True knowledge acts like a sharp sword, cutting through illusion and revealing our eternal nature. That is what you get true knowledge. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura gives the powerful solution here. If the illusion is misinterpretation of reality, the liberation comes through correct perception. That is jnana. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur also emphasizes that this is not a casual knowledge. It is a deep inquiry plus realization. So deep inquiry is required, Prabhuji's Mataji's. If the deep inquiry is not there, no, everything will be empty. So this slide uses a strong metaphor. The knowledge is like a sharpened sword. It cuts up false beliefs. It cuts and it cuts our wrong identity. It cuts our illusionary of separation. Yeah. Yeah. So it reveals that I am Atman. I am connected to Krishna. That is very important. Yeah. So I am soul. I am connected to Krishna. That is what is this. So what is the key teaching from this slide? Illusion is a wrong perception. Knowledge is a correct perception. Liberation comes from seeing the reality as it is. Yeah. Hare Krishna. So with this, okay, what is one takeaway for me from this particular slide is Maya makes us to see separation. Maya makes us to see separation. But the true knowledge reveals our eternal connection with the divine. That is very important. Maya makes us separation. But the true knowledge which we have, which is explained as a squad, no, is the reveals our eternal connection with divine. Okay. So with this, I'm moving to the next slide, slide 13. I think we have 14 slides. I think this is last slide, I guess. Yeah, I think 2-3 slides are there. So I am with slide 14. That is nature of material existence. Nature of material existence. So, okay, here we have two themes. So the first one is transient, okay, and fleeting nature. Material objects and experiences are transient and ephemeral, like a dream or a flickering flame. So what it is, why the material life cannot satisfy us? Let's understand. Is material life anybody satisfying us? No. The key idea is everything is materially temporary, unstable, constantly changing. Because of that, we're not happy, Prabhuji's Mataji's. That is what this particular theme is talking about. Yeah. So what is that theme B is talking about, which is unified consciousness. Yeah. So despite illusion, the soul remains one, transcendental and beyond change. So now it comes to a deep contrast. Material world is changing, material world is unstable, material world is fragmented, but the soul is constant, soul is unified, soul is transcendental. Yeah. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur emphasizes that, okay, even though experiences changes, the self remains unchanged. Yeah. Understood, Prabhuji's Mataji? That is the key theme here we are talking here. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Everything we cling to changes, but the self never changes. Realizing this is the beyond the detachment, Prabhuji's Mataji. Yeah. So that is what is this particular theme is talking about. Yeah. So I'm moving to the next theme, that is theme 5. I think I just moved the slide. I'm sorry for that. That is theme 5. The theme 5 is the role of divine guidance. The role of divine guidance, that is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, taking his shelter. This passage emphasizes that the recognizing the Supreme Lord, Krishna, is the ultimate refuge for us. That is what is this theme is talking about. So multiple times we discuss this. Yeah, multiple times we discuss this, Prabhuji's Mataji's. We have to take the shelter of Supreme Personality of the Godhead. And then the theme B is talking about philosophical instruction. The teachings illuminates the true nature of reality and inspire unwavering faith. Now, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives the final teachings and insights. Knowledge alone is not enough. Okay. What we need is sadhana and shraddha. What is that we need is faith, shraddha. Okay. Why? Because spiritual life requires trust in truth, consistency in practice, alignment with higher reality. That is what is talking about. That is a philosophical instructions Prabhuji's Mataji's for us in this particular theme. Yeah. So the key teaching from this particular slide is true liberation comes by recognizing Krishna as the ultimate refuge for all of us. and aligning our life with this particular realization. Yeah. So I'm moving to the last slide. Or yeah, I am moving to the last slide, that is slide 15. Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm going to take one more minute and then I'll close it. Okay. Hare Krishna. That is theme 6. That is attaining the self-realization and liberation. So we have two themes here. The first one is self-realization. The ultimate objective is achieving the self-realization, recognizing one's eternal essence beyond the physical body. Now we reach highest goal and entire teaching. Throughout the lesson 163, what is it we learn? I am not this body. I am not this mind. I am not the state of consciousness. What is it we learn? I am the Atma, eternal, spiritual body, beyond the matter. This is called self-realization. That is Atma Jnana. So this slide highlights that the state is peaceful. That state is peaceful, detached, and blissful. Why? Because the identity is no longer based upon temporary things. It is because with eternal things. Yeah. That is what the key teachings here of Prabhuji's Mataji's. But continuous remembering, okay, by constant rememberings of this divine, and individuals remain awareness of navigate illusion. So what does it mean? So now Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives a practical method to sustain the realization. Realization is not about one-time experience, Prabhuji's Mataji's. It must be maintained. That is through a continuous remembrance. Continuous smarana is required. That is through chanting, hearing, remembering Krishna, and living consciously. Yeah. So that is the final teaching, Prabhuji's Mataji's. So what is one line conclusion for us here? Okay, what is the conclusion here? Okay, one Prabhuji has mentioned, this text explains the relationship between the jiva, which is soul, and material consciousness, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the final integration. So what we understand is, jiva is eternal self, material consciousness is illusion, and Supreme Personality of Godhead, which is Krishna, is ultimate reality. Yeah, that is what we understand. Finally, that is the final conclusion. So I know that for last few Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur slides, I bit rush because it is being covered initially. But if you think that like you need to understand it more, so please go through again. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji's Mataji's. So I'm extremely sorry. I have taken a little more time. Okay. Hopefully, I covered all the themes what Prabhuji has
Prabhuji,
put so much.
you don't need to be apologetic. You covered excellently, and the very deep philosophy. Philosophy is so deep, and that's why it needed explanation a little bit more. So I think you utilize your time very, very efficiently, as best as anybody could. You done. It's really such an admirable job. You have done that. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Many of you really bring life to my my PowerPoints. My words. But thank you. We are all blessed.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for so wonderful class, so wonderful explanation. Very rightly said by Charu Prabhuji. So wonderful, Prabhuji. Thank you.
It was very challenging. This class was very challenging,
Very true, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Very
So
wonderful.
if you read my PowerPoints with his explanation, you will understand it. And the one who is going to do the recapping will have to come up with some intelligent questions based on the subject matter. So in the question and answer format, now we are going to understand this thing, okay? So that will finalize internalization. In fact, in this particular lesson, this is the crux of my thesis going to be, my doctoral thesis, which is all about the incredibly transformative nature of bhakti process. What is the issue at hand? That is the whole thing that I'm developing in my thesis, Hare Krishna.
Sanjeev Prabhuji, you will be recapping this lesson.
Is it him or me, Prabhuji? I think mine, right?
No. Yours is tomorrow. Next class.
Yeah. So I'll be recapping today's class tomorrow.
No. You will be recapping the Govinda Vasya lesson 11 tomorrow.
Okay.
Tomorrow is the Govinda Vasya class. Actually, actual Govinda Vasya lessons from 1 onwards, starting from tomorrow.
What so far we did the prerequisites,
Yes, yes.
So tomorrow is not
final-
my recap, Prabhuji. Let me be clear because
Yes,
28 was
yes.
marked. Okay.
Your recap is tomorrow only, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Yeah, I see that 28. That's what I thought.
28th is tomorrow.
Correct.
Yours is tomorrow, Prabhu, but it is the Govinda Bhashya class. So
Go
actually,
into Bash class, lesson 11. Okay. Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you.
and yes,
No, it's
I will do it on
11th lesson is a prerequisite lesson. Govinda
Yeah.
Bhashya in itself will start
start tomorrow.
tonight,
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I know you
tomorrow.
are going to do. Yeah, you are going to start tomorrow.
Yeah. So you're going to recap the 11th prerequisite lesson, the final
I will
lesson.
do that. Yeah,
Okay.
I will do that.
But the Sanjeev Prabhuji, you are going to be doing recapping of this
Today's
Prasad Prabhuji class. You need to come up with some really good question. So same subject matter, you're gonna do it in a question and answer format, okay?
yes,
Yeah, Prabhuji.
it's
Yeah,
very
so,
nice. So yes, very nice.
So his explanation, his entire
Yeah.
lecture is very, very informative, okay?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I have one question, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji,
So
in a Turiya,
everybody is being presented with a specific challenges, and Prasad Prabhu has come out uh, super excellent, super excellent.
Thank you for your
Yeah,
kind words.
Lakshman Mataji,
Mataji.
sorry about
yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I want to know that in a fourth state of awareness, Turiya state, it requires the mercy of Lord.
Yes, of course, Mataji. Definitely request.
Because without
request-
mercy, we cannot
Yeah.
attain that state.
No.
Okay, yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, in between, Prabhuji has slightly mentioned, okay, that is a state where you are connecting to Krishna. Prabhuji intervened and added one point. Yes, Prabhu, Charu Prabhuji, you have
Yes,
added that.
directly we can connect it with the Lord,
Yeah.
divine.
But directly, like we have to connect it through his name, Mahamantra, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
And
Yeah,
Guru Parampara.
yeah, Prabhuji, this is little confusing. Will not take it now. I think you have taken one class. The wakeful state, the dreaming state, and then Susupti, and then Turiya. But if you look at the Turiya stage, it's basically they talk about Brahman. So there's no distinguish. The state before Susupti, as we see, that is where the realization with the divine power or the uh, special person. Charuprabhuji, I'm trying to reconnect that. So that person comes in the Turiya state. Everybody is equal in that state. We
Yeah.
don't look in the bhakti platform, Prabhuji, Charuprabhuji. So maybe I may be wrong, but this is my understanding. Those guys, Omkara, Akar, Ukar, Makar, and they go to Surya stage, and their highest level was reaching Brahman. That equal everybody. Bhakti, we
Correct.
talk about devotional service, right? So
Yeah, Bhakti is
it's a
devotion.
different. It is not the exact Turiya per
Yeah,
se.
it may not be, but you may feel that, Prabhu, you will reach that Brahman state. I can give an example. Okay, I can give an example, Prabhuji, of from Srila Prabhupada life. Okay, Srila Prabhupada is traveling with his devotees, with his disciples. Okay, and then suddenly the flight being announced that it's going to collapse. Okay, and then everybody is up and down. Okay, everyone. But Prabhupada just pull the chanting back and is just chanting. And half an hour, after 1 hour, everything become normal.
Anyway, leave it here. Now, this is not that someday we'll open up that. It's another thing. But you did so nicely. So the last question, if nobody has that, can we summarize? Question answer is that tomorrow it will go. The Hamsas, right? The first question was asked to them about that material need, basically suffering, right? This started like the jivas are there and attachment, and that brings. That was the first question. So is it possible to answer that, because it was broken into three, right? Three classes. So we studied a lot of things in much of bits and pieces. Schematically, is it possible to highlight the first question and how we connect with that? Because you only took all the three classes, right, Prabhuji? If it's not there, tomorrow's question will bring up that. Because that's what Charu Prabhuji wanted. The tomorrow's questions will bring everything. Like it should be intelligent, right from the question that was asked by four Kumaras, and then the Hamsas answered that. Is that Charu Prabhuji you expect tomorrow, right? Combine everything.
Yeah, all these things that deep philosophy that Prabhuji explained, Prasad Prabhuji has explained.
Yeah.
Now the challenge for Sanjeev Prabhu is to put it in a question answer format,
Yeah.
So
Okay.
you see, three different ways we are trying to understand this deep philosophy. And in my writing, in my PowerPoints, also why I took this abstract main BBT extract and then BBT purport and the third VCT comments, So it's three way I did it. It sound like it's a repetition, but it's not really a repetition. It's from a three different angles that we saw. That is the reason the way I sort of crafted these PowerPoints,
Yes.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Very wonderful, and high lesson to take away. Thank you.
Now you are going to be, by this experience of Bhagavatam teaching, now you are going to need all the learnings that you have done so far in this Govinda Bhashya. You are all going to be tested on that. This Govinda Bhashya is also very deep philosophy, but now you are learning the art of understanding the philosophy. Okay? Art and science both. So now everything will be put into the test when you are going to do Govinda Bhashya, and I'm going to play just in the background. I'm not going to conduct lessons except first few things, okay? So all this experience you are gathering now, it will be very useful to internalize. Remember the two words I used in this today's PowerPoints: harmonization and a conduit. What is conduit? When a current passes, the copper wire is used, right? Copper is the best conduit metal. The current really allows to pass free from that any interruptions. So this conduit and then harmonization with your bhakti process. So this is what all this going to be. You are all going to be tested, because I'm really giving an opportunity for every one of you. I know it's how difficult it's going to be, Govinda Bhashya, but you are going to become real expert now. The finale, what we are talking about, the finale will come in this Govinda Bhashya.
Yeah, Prabhuji, that is a really concept. Is underlying thread you talk. It's a conduit, right? Underlying thread, the bhakti, how all various components align with that.
Yes,
how
exactly.
various
You're right.
various variations, all that, but yeah, somehow or other they are directed towards the ultimate goal. And good example of
You take example, you take the help from the Supreme Lord in your bhakti process. That harmonization takes place, and the conduit flows everything. So we need to take shelter of the Lord in our bhakti process, and that's how we attract the grace of the Lord.
And
no matter how many items you do, we need the grace of the Lord.
The another word, Prabhuji, Prabhuji, another word I saw, unity. It is the underlying here, unity. How you see, material and the spiritual, one glance, right? That how you unify, right? They are not different. They are not. That was a beautiful words you coined here, and I see that few times it was used. Really brings out the essence. They are not different, like four Kumaras were seeing the unity, like everything is his creation, right? What it means is that he's not in the spiritual, but he's also in the material, and how it unifies. You are not
Yeah.
out of that. Another word was everything is a. I think there's something I was reading to Vishwanath Chakravarti's commentary. Everything is in his in it said everything is in his creation. I think there's one word used. Very nice, very nice, very nice. Different concept you brought together. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments? Sanjeev Prabhuji, you are going to recapping, so
This is
do
high.
a
The
good
one
job.
thing for sure, as Sharu Prabhu mentioned, this is the highest knowledge.
No, Prabhuji, I think it was very clear. The three stages and the fourth, I think, and you also took a chapter for us earlier. Prasad Prabhu, very clear explanation. Really enjoyed going through. So, also like when you're speaking, it is like how like a realized soul speaks, like because you have internalized that and you're trying humbly to taste the Harinam. To taste Harinam, and you're trying those different ways, like you're putting the ear set, headset, or covering. So they are very encouraging. Ultimately, what we want for this.
We cannot hear you.
Mic is off.
We cannot hear you.
Mic is off, Prabhuji.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was speaking and okay, I lost. So very wonderful class, Prabhuji. I got inspired by the way you mentioned how you're mentioning from your own personal example, like you cover your ears with the earplug or with cover your eyes so that you can focus on the Harinam. So that's really, and you relish it to some extent, right? So that is great, and that's encouraging. And ultimately, I think that's our goal, right? To be able to taste and relish the Harinam. So we,
But that Prabhuji explained very nicely when he said that closing the ears,
yeah.
eyes closed. So you're delinking with what from the environmental that is creating problems, You're
Yeah.
removing those obstacles. Then you
Yeah.
can realize internally, your soul internally realizes it in line, in conduit with the Supreme.
Yes. So
So
wonderful.
he gave us some practical examples, really. It's a very intelligently, he did that,
Yes, we're
Prabhu,
very
Prasad
inspiring.
Prabhu, we are all very, very grateful to you. And
I
look,
don't deserve
amazing thing that he's physically not well,
Yes, yes.
and still he did such a wonderful job. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. I
You
don't
really
deserve
have
any
the
of
grace
the
of the Lord. You
appreciation.
really have the grace of the Lord.
It's the mercy of the Lord, Prabhuji.
Yes. Mercy in the form of the grace.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhu, for all your kind words. Anyhow, I don't deserve. I'll take it as
Obviously,
a
you must have worked very hard, Okay, Prabhuji, I think we are all about the time, right?
Yes, yes,
So
Prabhuji.
let's do the ratio prayer.
Prabhuji, may I do?
Yes, please go ahead.
हरे कृष्णा श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय हो नमस्ते नरसिंहाय नमस्ते नरसिंहाय प्रहलाद लाद दायिने प्रहलाद लाद दायिने हिरण्यकाशीपूर्वक्षः हिरण्यकाशीपूर्वक्षः तिलटङ्कानखालाये तिलटङ्कानखालाये इतो नरसिंहा परतो नरसिंहा इतो नरसिंहा परतो नरसिंहा यतो यतो यामि ततो नरसिंहा यतो यतो यामि ततो नरसिंहा बहिर्नरसिंहा हृदये नरसिंहा बहिर्नरसिंहा हृदये नरसिंहा नरसिंहमदिं शरणं प्रपद्ये तव करकमलवरे नाखाद्भुत शृङ्गार दलिता हिरण्यकशिपु तनुभृङ्गम् केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय हो नरसिंहदेव 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 जय हो नरसिंहदेव जय हो प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज जय हो प्रहलाद महाराज जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव नित्य गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल। श्री प्रभुपाद की जय हो। श्री श्री लक्ष्मी नरसिम्हा भगवान की जय हो। प्रहलाद महाराज की जय हो। श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय हो। सर्व डिवोटी की जय हो। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। दंडवत प्रणाम टू ऑल डिवोटीज।
Thank you.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Thank you, Prasad Prabhuji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Sharad
Thank
Prabhuji,
you all
Thank you.
devotees. Thank you all
Sharad
devotees.
So nice.
Thank you
Sharad
for the
Prabhuji,
mercy. Thank you.
can you
Yes,
wait
Prabhuji.
can you wait few minutes after the
Yes, Prabhuji.
I need to speak to you.
Thank you, Sharad Prabhuji. Dandot Pranam. Thank you all, Mataji.
Okay, Sharad Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.